Hey, what's up, GW Company Live? Hey, couple of things. I got another movie review for you. I hope you guys like this one because I had a lot of fun with this one. Um, but before I even get into that, I want to talk just a minute about what's been going on in California. Me and my wife been following the news. These wildfires are out of control. People are losing their houses, and my wife's got family out there, and they're okay. But just to see the devastation, it's monstrous. It's crazy. And I know this happens every year, but this is a very extreme thing. I mean, you look at, some of these houses that these people have, like Paris Hilton, her house is gone. A lot of other Hollywood celebrities are gone. My wife just read really interestingly enough that one, or saw in the uh, Facebook feed, that one of the houses caught fire, one of these big LA mansions, right? And it burned to the ground. But the only thing was weird was the Virgin Mary statue was still standing and untouched. And it does show you that there is some kind of presence in the world, as far as faith goes. But it's devastatingly sickening and very tragic. Also, my wife just showed me a clip where there was an 83-year-old man who has Parkinson's disease who escaped that wildfire. And what's interestingly enough about that was that the life expectancy for someone who has Parkinson's is not that high. So it goes to show you that small miracles do happen in the face of, very, very large tragedy. And I don't know what I can say. I mean, we're praying for all these people, and it's crazy what's been going on. So I wanted to address that real quick because that's more serious. Real life is more serious than any movie that I could talk about. You know, um, so the movie I want to talk about, guys, is called Saturday Night, and it's directed by Jason Reitman. Sorry. And this is a very, very fun movie. It walks you along a tightrope about what it took the night that Saturday Night Live premiered. And it premiered, if you guys are interested, on October 11th, 1975. The host was George Carlin. And you can go back in Peacock and you can watch that. And it mirrors like everything that you see. Now, this has a hell of a good cast. I'll just go through it so you guys can check it out. Gabriel LaBelle, he plays Lorne Michaels, and the cat looks just like a very, very young Lorne Michaels. Uh, Rachel Sennott plays Rosie Schuster. Rosie Schuster is Lorne Michaels' girlfriend in the film. Corey Michael Smith plays a young Chevy Chase, and he does one hell of a good job. Gilda Radner is played by Ella Hunt. Dan Aykroyd by Dylan O'Brien. Emily Fame plays Lorraine Newman. Sorry, guys. Matt Wood plays John Belushi. Now, what I didn't know, and I did some research on this, is that John Belushi and Chevy Chase hated each other on the set. They would get into fist fights. They would try to antagonize each other any chance they got. And it was a pretty good blend of combustible elements there. Lamorne Morris plays Garrett Morris. Garrett Morris, guys, is probably one of the most recognizable and has probably some of the most screen time in this film. Because if you guys remember, one of the earliest memories of Saturday Night Live that I have was his song about "I'm gonna get me a shotgun," and well, you guys know the song, and it's very memorable, and it's the thing that makes I think Garrett Morris stick out, and he's a pretty cool cat. His character is very cool. Kim Matula plays Jane Curtin. Jane Curtin later on, as the season progressed, became Chevy Chase's co-anchor on Weekend Update. Finn Wolfhard plays NBC page. Finn Wolfhard, guys, has been doing a lot of cool acting. He's been in the Ghostbusters films, and he's really establishing himself as, a top tier actor. Nicholas Braun plays Jim Henson. That was another thing that people forget was Jim Henson's Muppets sort of made an appearance on that. And it's funny because the cast and crew antagonize the Muppets themselves, put them in have pranks with the Muppets. And Jim Henson, he seems like his character in this film wants a family-friendly PG, we're just going to do this and get out. And man, does he get messed with. So Cooper Hoffman plays Dick Ebersol. Dick Ebersol, you guys, was a top tier executive sort of guy at NBC. And as the film progresses, you see that he wants it to fail. Why do NBC want it to fail? Because they were so used to running Johnny Carson reruns because Carson was the king of late night. They were going to put reruns on Saturday. If this show failed to garner an audience, or if it failed to impress the execs, it was getting axed right there on the premiere day, according to this film. Andrew Feldman plays Neil Levy. Kayla Gerber plays Jacqueline Carlin. Tommy Dewey's played by Michael O'Donoghue is played by Tom Dewey. William Dafoe has a really cool appearance in this, and he's a sinister guy. He ultimately decides the fate of the show. His character is the embodiment of every top tier exec. He's running through 50,000 things in his head on whether or not to get the show either greenlit or canceled, and he's put up against a wall in this film. Matthew Russ plays George Carlin. George Carlin in the 70s, guys, in case you guys don't know, like I said, he was the host of the first Saturday Night Live. He was one of the first comedians to come out with a record, and he was nationally known from 7 Dirty Words You Can't Say on TV or radio. And he was a very, very hot topic in the 70s, and I think Lorne Michaels wanted him to host a show to get notoriety. Now, J.K. Simmons is also in this film. J.K. Simmons, if you guys watched Oz, he's Schillinger from Oz. He's also the guy in the State Farm commercials. Plays Milton Berle. Now, there's an interesting scene toward I would say to the end of the middle of the film where him and Chevy Chase get into it, a little bit of a back and forth. And all I can say about this scene is that if the rumors were true about Milton Berle, he was one hell of a guy. John Baptiste plays Billy Preston. Naomi McPherson plays Julianne. Robert Wool is in the movie. Robert Wool, you guys, was in another movie, one of my favorites with Tommy Lee Jones called Cobb, about Ty Cobb, the baseball player. Really arrogant dude. Very, very good actor. Now, also, according to Wikipedia, Nicholas Podany plays Billy Crystal. Billy Crystal was supposed to have a spot on Saturday Night Live in the first episode. And Billy Braun ended up playing Andy Kaufman. And guys, I got to tell you, his performance was brilliant. He nailed it. He took you right back into the very intro of Saturday Night Live, where you guys know that he put on a record and he did the whole Mighty Mouse thing, and it was one of the famous things ever. In fact, it's an iconic scene. Check it out. So now we got the casting up out of the way. 7 minutes later. Goddamn. So why should you watch this? Well, because it runs, first of all, at a breakneck speed. There is a lot of things going on. I mentioned the fist fight between Chevy Chase and John Belushi's character. I also did not mention that John was going to appear as the bees. You know, he didn't like his costume. Aside from John's drama, he didn't even sign his contract till 15 minutes prior to them going out on stage. There was all kinds of things that went wrong. You name it, Murphy's Law took over in this film. And it is a wonder that Lorne Michaels got this off the ground, to be dead honest with you. There was everything, wardrobe changes, time frames. Lorne wanted a 3.5 hour sketch comedy show that he had to whittle down into an hour and a half. Things were cut. It's just, it was dysfunction on every level of every staff member. One of the most interesting things about it is that he wanted 3 musical guests, Lorne Michaels did. However, the show was down to 2 and now it's down to 1, because now if you watch the show, you got 1 band performing 2 songs. At least that's the way it was whenever I watched it. I kind of tuned out these last couple of years because basically the characters aren't there. He also wanted counterculture stuff. He wanted, when someone asked him in the film, he goes, "What is Saturday Night about?" And it takes him till the very end of the movie to answer that. And it does make sense. He wants you to feel like you're downtown in New York, where one day one minute you could catch, Paul Simon playing live, or you go to a comedian or comedy show and you see a monologue that you might remember. That was the other thing about it. This tightrope that they walk, and it just layered with so much dysfunction. It's crazy. William Dafoe's character, Dick Ebersol, has no faith in the show, and that was a fact. John Belushi actually went ice skating outside the set of Saturday Night Live. Where you see the giant statue of yeah. But there's a lot of stuff here. If you like the show, you're gonna soak it all in. But basically, it was dysfunction on every level, and for them to get a show off the ground to basically, start from nothing, the way that it ends is probably so iconic to the show that it's amazing. The end of the show, it is revealed, like, in the middle of the show, actually, I should say, in the middle of the movie, that Johnny Carson calls. Johnny Carson wanted Lorne Michaels to fail on all fronts. Because, again, he wanted to be the king of late night. There's so much iconic stuff from the first episode. And even the characters, they play themselves. The actors that play the characters that, they play are so good at it. Chevy Chase's character, or I'm sorry, the guy that plays Chevy Chase. Who did I say that was? That was casting. Hold on. Corey Michael Smith is amazing. His deadpan delivery of what Chevy Chase was like in that first episode is crazy. There are a lot of profanities in this movie. There's also a lot of stuff, like I said, if you're a fan, you're going to soak in. A lot of people don't remember the Muppets were on there, like I just said. A lot of people don't remember, that in the 70s, they came up with those fake commercials. Saturday Night Live used to have these fake commercials that would run them right before a real commercial, so you didn't know, and you'd actually go out and look for the thing that, they had on there. It's a fun movie to watch, and my wife got it for me as a Christmas gift because it actually came out after Christmas, and I wanted to see it. And like I said, I am a really big fan of the show, but it is well done, well acted, and to see this thing with all the odds against this show, But you got cast fighting, you got people pissed off about wardrobes, you got people mad they're not going to sign contracts, you have every TV executive in the world telling you you're going to fail. It was a wonder that they got it off the ground. And the thing of it is, you know that they did. But seeing the struggle that Lorne Michaels had to go through to get this, and when you look at this stuff online and you go fact versus fiction, some of it's exaggerated. But the core idea is that Lorne Michaels had a vision for a sketch comedy show. And he didn't let anything stop him, despite all the chaos flaming down around him. It's a wonderful movie. It's one that I think that's going to be, probably not fully recognized for what it could be. And like I said, Jason Reitman directs this thing and he puts you dead center. There's no prepping. You just get dropped into the, channel or NBC studio and you're right there amongst the chaos, but again, that's it's a fun movie to watch. I give it a 10 out of 10. You really would like it if you're a fan of the show. But again, my movie reviews don't mean anything. Right now our hearts and prayers are with the people in California dealing with those monstrous wildfires. And I just, it makes all of our problems here look like nothing because they're the ones dealing with the real tragedy. And I hope they can rebuild and they can get on with their lives and they can, they're all together, but I don't know how to finish that. On a sidebar, I didn't drop this video till now because I was fighting. My wife got me Postal 3, as I mentioned in the last review. I had to patch it and play. Finally, it is playable, but it took me a couple of days. It ended up being the graphics card needed updated in our computer, and I don't know. I guess I didn't want her wasting money, and I was determined to get this game to work. So I was spending all of my time with that instead of drop a video here. That being said, again, that problem pales in comparison with things going on, on the other side of the world. And it's been crazy, you guys. And like I said, it hits pretty close to home for her because she does have family there. They're okay. But just the thought of, somebody that you love in a precarious position or precarious danger, is enough to rattle you. And she's been rattled. She's okay. Like I said, they're okay. But there's a lot of people that aren't. And I just wish them and pray for them and hope that they, can return back to, at some point, return back to where they, they should be, and that's in their house. So I know that was a little bit more serious than my average, movie review, but I figured I'd address that and nothing really else. It's cold as hell, and I don't know. Just doing the thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you check the movie out. I hope you enjoy it. I really did. I really did like this movie. But if you go into it with an objective viewpoint, or you don't like some of the actors or whatever, but it doesn't cover a lot. It covers the making of the show. I know some people, when I've read reviews for this film, they're like, well, we should have went more with John Belushi's character and this and that. They're not talking about... In fact, the last John Belushi movie that was made was called Wired, and it starred Michael Chiklis. And if you guys want to check out something, you could probably find it on YouTube. Somewhere I have a really crappy copy. I read Bob Woodward's book, and it was basically about him being drugged up on cocaine and heroin and going to do these sketches, and it was a hell of a read. But this movie's not about John Belushi. It's not about Chevy Chase. It's about all of them coming together, and yeah, you're gonna have a lot of tension, but the actors are really good. Like I said, the guy that played Garrett Morris was fantastic. The guy that played Andy Kaufman, tremendous. One dude I didn't address real quick was Dylan O'Brien. He plays Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd was in the first mock commercial. You know, it's about a new dad, and you guys should check it out. But it's done wonderfully. And Jason Reitman, the one thing I will say, he has very much appreciation for the show. He created every set to look exactly to a T like the old sets. There's so much I could say about this movie that I think maybe some of it I already said. But again, it's just, we're talking about a movie. You know, we got more important things in California. But I hope you watch the movie. I hope you enjoy it. And I want to hear your thoughts on it. Peace.